Pilot Handbook 1.5 Introduction to Flying. Now, let's delve into the aviation realm and explore the Airline Transport Pilot (ATP) certification, a zenith in piloting proficiency. Securing the ATP certificate is a prerequisite for assuming pivotal roles as the pilot in command, PIC, or second in command, SIC, in scheduled airline operations. It is also an essential credential for specific charter and fractional operations. To embark on this journey, aspiring pilots must amass a minimum of 1,500 hours of flight time. Moreover, candidates must be at least 23 years old, possess language proficiency, and exhibit good moral standing. An alternate route allows the acquisition of an ATP certificate with restricted privileges, enabling service as an SIC in scheduled airline operations with reduced experience requirements, granted specific academic and flight training criteria are met. In the pursuit of becoming a professional pilot, the critical decision of selecting an appropriate flight school awaits. Here, you have several options: Federal Aviation Administration approved training centers, Federal Aviation Administration approved pilot schools, non-certificated flying schools, and independent flight instructors, all playing integral roles in flight training across the United States. Operating under the regulatory frameworks of 14 CFR Parts 142, 141, or 61, these institutions ensure strict adherence to Federal Aviation Administration standards, ensuring that you receive top-notch training. Federal Aviation Administration approved training centers, often referred to as flight academies under 14 CFR Part 142, operate with Federal Aviation Administration certification and adhere to stringent requirements for personnel, equipment, facilities, and curriculum. Engaging in contracts with airlines, they offer comprehensive training for private, commercial, instrument, and ATP certificates. The use of flight simulation training devices is a key component of their training methodology. Now, let's turn our attention to flight schools operating under 14 CFR Part 141. These institutions, also Federal Aviation Administration certificated, follow structured curricula and approved training course outlines, TCOs. They may qualify for ground school and flight school ratings, gaining authorization to conduct practical and knowledge tests. To identify these certificated schools and their offered courses, the Federal Aviation Administration Pilot School Search Database is a valuable resource. Enrolling in a 14 CFR Part 141 flight school offers a structured and systematic approach to flight training. This ensures not only quality but also continuity in your learning journey. The documented curriculum and Federal Aviation Administration approval often lead to completing certificates and ratings with fewer flight hours, potentially saving you on the overall cost of flight training. On the other hand, Part 61 schools, operating under the guidelines of 14 CFR Part 61, provide flexibility in tailoring flight lessons to your individual needs. While this flexibility can be advantageous, it's crucial for flight instructors to organize training efficiently, avoiding redundancy. A well-documented training syllabus is one way to ensure a smooth learning experience. So, here you are, standing at the crossroads of flight training, facing the choice between Part 141 and Part 61. The decision often hinges on your preferences and learning styles. Now, let's delve into the exciting journey of becoming a pilot. First off, you need to choose the type of aircraft you want to fly. Whether it's airplanes, gyroplanes, weight shift, helicopters, powered parachutes, gliders, balloons, or airships, the sky is full of possibilities. It's worth noting that ultralight vehicles don't require a certificate. Now, for aspiring pilots, the initial step is obtaining a student pilot certificate. This certificate allows you to fly solo under specific circumstances while being trained by an instructor pilot. You can get this certificate processed by various authorities like an Federal Aviation Administration inspector, a certified flight instructor, and Federal Aviation Administration designated pilot examiner, or an Airman Certification Representative, ACR. You can submit your application electronically through the Integrated Airman Certification and Rating Application, IACRA, or on paper via the local Flight Standards District Office, FSDO. Starting April 1, 2016, the Student Pilot Certificate will come in a new format, a plastic card replacing the old paper version. This modernized version doesn't come with an expiration date, providing more convenience. Now, after securing your student pilot certificate, the next step is obtaining a medical certificate, especially if you're planning to fly airplanes, helicopters, gyroplanes, or airships. It's recommended to get this certificate before you kick off your flight training to avoid any interruptions due to unforeseen medical conditions. Balloon or glider pilots, however, don't need a medical certificate but must provide a written statement affirming their fitness for piloting. For those aiming for the sport pilot category, there's good news: no medical examination is required. A driver's license is sufficient as proof of medical competence. Medical certificates are categorized into first, second, and third classes, with the third class generally applicable to student, recreational, and private pilots. And Federal Aviation Administration authorized aviation medical examiner, AIM, will conduct the physical examination needed for this certificate. Now, armed with your student pilot certificate and medical clearance, you're ready to embark on the thrilling journey of flight training. Keep in mind that the plastic student pilot certificate doesn't expire, providing more flexibility. If you were issued a paper certificate before this new process, it remains valid until its expiration date, but remember, paper certificates can't be renewed. Once it expires, you'll need to submit a new application via the IACRA system to obtain the new plastic certificate. Finding a reputable flight program is a crucial step in your journey to becoming a pilot. Start by reaching out to the local Flight Standards District Office, FSDO, which maintains up-to-date information on all schools within its district. The decision on a flight school should align with your goals, whether you aim to obtain a specific certificate or pursue a career as a professional pilot. Consider your time availability for training, as regular and frequent ground and flight sessions enhance proficiency. While financial considerations are important, prioritize the quality of training. Take the time to visit prospective flight schools, engaging with management, instructors, and students. Request a personal tour of the facility, and ask questions about aircraft reliability, maintenance practices, and the availability of clean, safe aircraft during scheduled flights. As you embark on this journey, be inquisitive and proactive. Conduct research, develop a checklist of questions based on conversations with experienced pilots and reading flight magazines. Inquire about the school's operating hours, dedicated classrooms for Federal Aviation Administration required ground training, and spaces for pre-flight and post-flight briefings. Choosing a certificated flight instructor is equally critical, regardless of whether you opt for training under 14 CFR Part 141 or Part 61. The effectiveness of your flight program hinges on the quality of training provided by the certificated flight instructors. Look for a certificated flight instructors with a profound understanding of the learning process, teaching fundamentals and effective communication skills. Certificated flight instructors play a pivotal role in scenario-based training endorsed by the Federal Aviation Administration, guiding learners through a dynamic learning environment. Certificated flight instructors should orient students to the scenario-based training system, cultivate confidence in flight planning and management, connect theoretical knowledge to real-world applications, diagnose learning challenges, assess progress, and maintain accurate records. If a student finds that the chosen certificated flight instructor's training style or schedule isn't conducive to learning, it's advisable to seek another instructor. The right certificated flight instructor significantly influences a student pilot's entire flying career, impacting the knowledge and skills acquired for years to come.